got a bit of a reputation for pushing the limits, pushing really hard, and I absolutely love the search. It's the search that drives me. It's everything. It's the fact that that trophy fish does frequent this harbour. Like, there is doubles, they are here. For me, I'm hoping that we see a monster. I really, really want to see a PB. I'm looking for that bigger fish. I'm looking for it in a cooler area, in skinnier water. I am a bit of an adrenaline junkie, and I want the next bigger hit. And I think bass does that perfectly. Here you go. Quite a run. Right, quite a run. So, based down in the south of England, we've got a huge selection of grounds that we can get ourselves into to find bass. We're super blessed with these massive natural harbours. I think a lot of people, they think of a harbour as maybe a man-made thing, and it's not that big and it's where boats sit. Far from it. This is like a massive estuarine system, and within it we've got bladderwrack, we've got seagrass, we've got fast currents in tight little pinch points, we've got open shingle, and then the West Sussex coast in itself is quite an anomaly. You know, we've got Selsey, we've got these harbours next to it like Medmery and Church Norton, and all of these provide kind of targeting those on the beaches as well. And that is just the joy of it. You can be with myself, you could go on a guided day and you could be throwing metals, and then 2 hours later you could be fishing 2-inch baits in the weed. We could then move up on the top of the tide right up into the seagrass and be stalking and walking and sight fishing. So the varied nature of the fish is really what switches me on. There's no 2 days are ever going to be the same on this one. The first time that I truly remember being mesmerised by a sea bass was down in a marina, a little aquarium down in Foy, and there was these huge sea bass swimming around in this aquarium, and they must have been probably 12 pound or something like that, but to me I was maybe 10 or 11 at the time, and they just felt like something mythical. They felt like a monumental creature that I'd never seen, I couldn't imagine catching. Stories at the time where, you know, these giants maybe kind of been and gone, like we've seen that in the UK and we might never see them again. And then here I am as a bass guide. But yeah, that would be where it all began as a kid, seeing that first big silver flank in an aquarium. I think with this species, you've probably got more variables to contend with than targeting any other species in the UK. I think when you've got a harbour that if you get it wrong, you're going to come to zero water, you're going to have nothing there to fish. That's unique in that scenario just itself, with just that one variable of tide in an estuarine system. Add to that your wind, your pressure, your temperatures. Your temperatures and UV control this place. There's so many little crustaceans and microorganisms that are also controlled by variables such as rainfall and temperature and tides. And that's going to spur your bass into feeding or moving, and they're very fickle. They'll swap between food sources. So you can have a week where you find 2 fish, and then at the end of that week you can have 20 in the next hour. They can be absolutely brutal, and I think that's the joy of it. Dang, he saw me, but I can't see them unless I'm close enough. When the going gets tough, the real joy for me, and I know that it's something that a lot of anglers find is the case, they're a predatory species. You can make that instinct cross a threshold and you can get that bite out of them. That in itself means that they're always open for an angler. On the toughest of days, they still exist, they're still out there, they're still in the water, and it's nailing down that to a fine art. So when they don't want to eat, when they're really tough, when everyone else is giving up, I enjoy going out and trying to get that bite. I love fooling that fish, and if it's visual, again, whether that's in shallow water on plastics or on top water, if you can take it past its instinct and get that bite, that's pretty incredible, because there's a lot of times that they won't do it for you and they'll school you. Great species in that respect. I think these fish are set apart from not the rest of the UK species. I mean, you will see pike and perch, and you'll see really predatory instinct from big trout and all of this stuff, but what makes a bass is, I think on any given day you're going to see aggression beat all of those species. They will lock on to what you're offering and they are having it 100%. They'll track it to their detriment. They'll put themselves in the most gnarly situations to grab your lure, and I think they've just got a bit of this attitude about them. I think having them in the UK, you just cannot over-exaggerate how blessed we are as anglers to have this one species. If they didn't exist, I don't know what, you wouldn't have something that could fill that void. There isn't another predatory species that would take its place in such a grand manner.